Hi there, everybody. My name is Sasha, Education Coordinator at Realm of Caring, and thank you for joining me today for this intermediate to advanced discussion on getting to know the cannabinoid CBDA. So first, we're going to start off by getting into basic facts about the cannabinoid, then the benefits, followed by what research tells us about stabilizing this unstable molecule, and finally, we'll have a bit of time for a Q&A at the end. Okay. So, what is CBDA? Let's get into that. Cannabidiolic acid, or CBDA, is one of three cannabinoid precursor compounds converted from CBGA. CBGA also converts to the precursor compounds THCA, CBCA, or may convert to its non acidic form of CBG. The cannabis plant produces cannabinoids as prenylated aromatic carboxylic acids, which are converted to their more neutral forms thanks to heat, light, or aging. When decarboxylation occurs by exposing the cannabis plant to either heat or light, CBDA converts to CBD. Some more things to know about CBDA. It is the main phytocannabinoid in hemp fiber and hemp seed oil. Research has shown that it may be more potent than CBD, although not as stable. Both CBDA and THCA are not stable given that they simply decompose when exposed to light or heat, meaning that they can very easily change from their state, which is a topic that we're going to get into in just a moment here. So, how does CBD interact? These are the research potentials, and I'm going to dive into these a little bit deeper. But to overview the therapeutic potential of CBDA, first we know that it inhibits the COX2 enzyme. These enzymes are associated with inflammation after injury or infection. So, by blocking COX2 enzymes, CBDA can relieve inflammation and associated pain. CBDA also affects 5-HT serotonin producing receptors by enhancing their activation. This action shows promise for CBDA as an anti nausea or antiemetic, anticonvulsant, and antidepressant. Anecdotally speaking, individuals have witnessed a faster reaction time with CBDA when compared to CBD. They have noticed a benefit within 30 minutes on average compared to CBD that may take hours or days for realized benefit. CBDA does have anti inflammatory potential. In a study in comparison to an equivalent low dose of CBD, CBD was not efficient in reducing hyperalgesia, which is increased sensitivity to pain, whereas CBDA did reduce hyperalgesia at that same low amount. In this same study, individual doses of THC and CBDA that were so low they were deemed ineffective were combined. This combination of the two produced an anti hyperalgesia effect and reduced inflammation. This is to say that CBDA or THC alone at very low doses, when instead combined, have anti inflammatory and anti hyperalgesia effects, as it was shown in animal models of acute inflammation. We know this to be the entourage effect, that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and that cannabinoids may have increased efficacy when combined. In vivo studies, meaning studies done with a living organism, mainly carried out in rats, examine the ability of CBDA to inhibit vomiting induced by toxins or from movement, which is also known as motion sickness. CBDA appears to reduce involuntary vomiting and simultaneously delay the onset of nausea and vomiting in rats in response to movement with a more powerful effect than CBD because of the ability of CBDA to enhance 5-HT receptor activation. These studies of the actions of CBDA show promise that it may be helpful for nausea and vomiting, including anticipatory nausea, for which there is no specific therapy currently available. Anticipatory nausea is conditioned or psychological nausea, often provoked by a reminder of something that leads to vomiting or has led to vomiting in the past. This is something individuals going through chemotherapy may experience. It has been speculated that CBDA and THCA have anticonvulsant properties. Let's take a look at the potential and what research has told us so far. CBDA in one study was anticonvulsant in lower amounts than the average effective amount of CBD, suggesting that it may be more potent than CBD. CBDA has shown to be anticonvulsant against hyperthermia induced seizures in mice. Children with Dravet syndrome often exhibit seizures that are provoked by fever or hyperthermia induced, suggesting that CBDA may be beneficial with children suffering from Dravet syndrome. Research has also shown it is anticonvulsant against pentylamine tetrazole induced seizures, which can be described as general seizures that are chemically induced. CBDA is one of the most prevalent cannabinoids after CBD and cannabis sativa extracts being researched for childhood epilepsies, including Dravet. There are various epilepsy relevant receptors that CBDA interacts with, including 5-HT1A, GPR55, and TRPV1. When it comes to cancer models, the anti-cancer activity of CBDA was investigated on acute lymphocytic leukemia, promyelocytic leukemia cells, and human prostate LNCAP cells. CBDA was found to be less active than CBD for all of these until it was tested towards MDA-MB231 cells, which is a highly aggressive triple negative breast cancer. It was found that CBDA has the ability to inhibit the migration of breast cancer cells. Research is still early on this, but due to what has been found for breast cancer as well as other conditions, optimizing the full exploitation of CBDA and deepening the knowledge of its pharmaceutical efficacy should be pursued in further research. And most research articles recommend this action be taken in the conclusion of their research. In 2019, Raphael Mechoulam, who we know as the father of cannabis research, said that CBDA is naturally occurring but very unstable and is much stronger than CBD with no side effects. So the question is, how do we make this unstable molecule stable so its benefits may be more realized and utilized? Well, there are ways to stabilize CBDA that chemists have discovered. Um, no one expects you to know this. This is for your knowledge so that you're aware of methods out there to stabilize this cannabinoid, should this be something you want to look into obtaining for yourself as it potentially becomes more readily available. A few examples would be ultrasonic extraction, which is where ultrasonic vibrations are pulsated with the carrier oil to penetrate the cellular walls without compromising the terpenes or the cannabinoids. Then there's supercritical fluid extraction, which uses CO2 as a main solvent and ethanol as a co-solvent, both attributed to safe use. And this is to ensure that heat and light sensitive compounds are stable, a method that is scalable to industrial size. And there's high performance liquid chromatography, and that's used in place of gas chromatography, which resolves the threat of phytocannabinoid decomposition as a result of heating. And mass spectrometry, which is a method described as simple and reliable using standard simple dilution and homogenization. There are other methods to stabilize molecules. Therefore, I would just recommend for you that if you find a CBDA product, you inquire about their extraction method that preserves this very unstable compound. You just want to be sure that your CBDA is stable and that something as simple as placing the bottle in sunlight will not convert your CBDA to CBD. In other words, that you are actually getting what you paid for, because remember, the quality of your product matters. As new CBDA specific research or products we support become available, we would be happy to let you know, so please stay in touch. We are also more than happy to share research articles with you. And if you have more questions about the mechanisms of action for this specific cannabinoid, or really any cannabinoid, we will do our best to assist you. So here is our contact information.